Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mind the Moment's Tuesday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. This is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to talk with us about what mindfulness means to them and discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and I am very happy to be here with Zeenat Potia, a longtime meditator and mindfulness instructor. Good morning, Zeenat.
Hi, Suzanne. Very happy to be here this morning and welcome to all.
Yes, happy to have you. So as usual, today we'll start with a question for the group. And we've decided to begin the meditation practice in the beginning. So folks who have 9 a.m. meetings can leave if necessary. So just wanted to let you know that little change. So Zeenat will lead us in a guided meditation practice. She'll share some of her insights. And then after that, we'll have time for questions. So if everyone could go down to the bottom of your screen and open up the chat. As a reminder, if you could also consider changing your settings from just seeing the panelists' comments to seeing panelists and all participants' comments. And then we can all be together seeing each other's comments and building a little bit more community. Okay, so Zeenat, what question do you have for the group this morning?
Given that we're still in January and a new year lies before us, I am curious and I would like to invite folks to consider if you had to pick just one word for this coming year as an aspiration or an intention, what would it be? And so just to reflect, not to be so goal oriented, but more intention oriented, as a word that would help you to define how the rest of the year progresses for you. And I'll read them as they come in, and as you listen, and perhaps you're reading along in the chat, the invitation is to practice deep listening or generous listening in the tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh, to receive the offering from one another. Peaceful hope, presence, savor, beautiful hope, balanced focus, harmony, spiritual, accepting, balanced, peace, healing, together. I just love how that's landing all together, healing together. Coincidentally, my word for 2021 is also healing. So I'm very moved by that. Thank you all for sharing.
Yeah, I really like healing and my word, the word that came to me was openness. Just being open to what arises, how just being open to people's opinions and different ways of life, and but I really like healing as well.
Yeah, and the quality of openness, the way you described it, Suzanne, has a sense, a tone of being willing and being unguarded, letting down one's guard, which is just the opposite, I think, of what many of us have been doing for the past 10 months, because we've been in such a threat environment. So that's a really beautiful intention. Good. Okay, so I think we'll transition to practice.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So please, coming into a comfortable posture. If you've always taken a seated shape and you're curious about some of the others, and there's 4 possibilities: sitting, standing, walking, and lying down. The walking is a little trickier to do, but right now. So if you're curious to explore perhaps standing or lying down, I invite you to check it out. They're all equally precious in terms of the potential to wake up in those shapes. So if you're standing, and especially if the energy is feeling a bit down, standing can really move things and shift things. And so just make sure that your feet are hips width, knees soft, arms by your side, and head and neck as if you're looking straight ahead. And you would be welcome to close the eyes. And if you're lying down, to feel free to lie on your side or whatever position in the lying down that makes you feel nurtured and supported. So not necessarily Shavasana, kind of split open to the elements. And make sure, you can have a blanket or whatever that feels good. Just don't lie in your bed because you might fall asleep. And we're trying to wake up, so that wouldn't serve us. And if majority of you may be seated, just let the spine be upright, shoulders down, relaxed. And then whatever shape, see if it's possible to go for support and ease rather than comfort and pleasure. And I think we know the difference. When we're present, we know. Coming into stillness. Contacting the ground. If you're sitting and standing, then both feet are connecting to the earth. And if you're lying down, then you have a lot more surface area and a lot more connection to the ground. The earth element has a certain heaviness. It anchors us in the here and now, and it supports us. Sensing the earth element within your body. As Rainer Maria Rilke says, patiently trusting the heaviness. Patiently trusting the heaviness. Tendency is to live in the buzzing mind, the monkey mind, the fluttering heart, racing to the past or the future, seldom in the present. Trying to fix, control, or change anything that's unpleasant. What if instead we patiently trust the heaviness that's here? Not as a way of drowning or coming into status, but as a way of steadying. Another wonderful quality of the earth element is its absorbency. Is it possible if there is any agitation, anxiety, sadness, discomfort, to allow it to move, to let go, and to be absorbed by the ground, to be held by the ground, right here and right now. with the intention of openness and allowing. The offerings from the check-in. Being open to and allowing your moment-to-moment experience to unfold. Observing, bearing witness to the breath, the movement of the air element, the fizziness. In the elements practice, we connect to the elements internally and we begin to sense them externally. This is not me or mine. The breath is coming and going on its own. We're not trying to control or change. Simply observe exactly as it is. With a warm heart, with a curious heart, this is the fire element temperature. The quality of allowing and healing are infused with friendliness, with warmth. In the classical teachings, when we close the eyes, we experience a moment of freedom from agitation, is referred to as a cooling of the fires. If the mind flits away, is distracted, is pulled into the trance of thinking, obsessing, worrying, planning, all of the things minds are experts at, the moment when you notice that you've drifted away, just pausing with a little bit of fire element, and we need dedication and ardor to practice. We need commitment, guiding the mind gently with warmth back to your chosen element that can help you reconnect to the present moment. Could be ground, could be earth, could be breath or air, could be a sense of loving kindness, of warmth. May I be well. May I be well. Infusing your practice with the elements. No separation. Let's continue in this way in quiet contemplation for a couple of minutes. listening with your whole heart the last minute or so. I'm going to offer a poem, the full poem by Rilke. And being fully aware of your inner aliveness, of your presence as you receive, ideally with eyes closed, listening deeply once again. And as you take in the words, see if you can bring an awareness of the elements that we've introduced in the practice today to this poem. How surely gravity's law, strong as an ocean current, takes hold of the smallest thing and pulls it toward the heart of the world. Each thing, each stone, blossom, child is held in place. Only we, in our arrogance, push out beyond what we each belong to for some empty freedom. If we surrendered to Earth's intelligence, we could rise up, rooted like trees. Instead, we entangle ourselves in knots of our own making and struggle, lonely and confused. So, like children, we begin again to learn from the things because they are in God's heart. They have never left him, her, or they. This is what the things can teach us: to fall, patiently to trust our heaviness. Even a bird has to do that before he can fly. This is what the things can teach us: to fall, patiently to trust our heaviness. Even a bird has to do that before he can fly. This is by Rainer Maria Rilke. And taking your time as we begin to transition from the practice and really bringing the mindfulness that we've cultivated now as we open the eyes, feeling free to please look around your space. If there's a window, I invite you to look outward. We focus in order to broaden our perspective. And please feel free also to do any kind of stretches or movement or take deeper breaths, whatever feels good in your body. And thank you for your practice.
Thank you so much, Zeenat. I love the invitation to take your discomfort and let the earth hold that for you. I think that's a wonderful recommendation, wonderful guidance. So thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne.
So we wanted to open it up. Anyone have any questions or comments? Someone was mentioning, said that was beautiful. And also was wondering if you could share the name of the poet.
Yeah.
And maybe spell the name so she could find it.
Absolutely. In fact, what I'll do is I'm going to put in the chat a link to the poem, and it has the name of the poet. I'll put the name of the poet as well, but you'll have the entire poem if you click that link, and then that way you have access to the full thing. And then I'll put just the name in the chat as well. Okay.
And another comment, someone felt like there was beautiful imagery in the poem. Yeah, I really like the connection to the elements as well. The loving kindness, the grounding, the warmth. That's, yeah, it brought a lot of peace to me during the sitting. So
Good. I've been inspired by it in my own practice lately, so I was happy to share it.
Yeah, I've always had a real connection to the earth. Anytime that I feel like I'm either in the past or the future, I'll connect. I'll just feel my feet
Mm.
on the ground and feel like that has brought me back to the present. But I love the other elements as well. Someone said it brought back images of parental care, which feels healing.
Yeah, yeah. And what's so interesting about that, Sheila, thank you for that reflection, is that um, we can offer it to ourselves. The inner parent or the reparenting philosophies have this as their foundation of how we can be our own loving parent in the midst of all of the storms. Um, and I love that. It's very much integral to the spiritual path is the power of agitation, and the absence of agitation lies within our own mind and our hearts, not on external conditions. And the loving parent piece can be a useful guide or a way to access those parts of us ourselves that feel alien or forgotten in the midst of difficulty, because it's so easy to forget. I'm reminding myself, daily, multiple times a day, to soften or to be kinder to myself.
Yeah, I love that. And I've also heard people mention that we should treat ourselves and our feelings like a caring friend would, would listen to us and care for us. So all great recommendations. Someone mentioned, I like the image of grounding to earth and standing solid like trees.
Yes, yes. In the, again, coincidentally, in the classical teachings, there's a lot of reference to go meditate at the foot of trees, go meditate, go sit under a tree and meditate, which is, in our urban lives, or if you live in an urban environment, not quite so possible. But the metaphor of it, we can contact of going to these elements, to nature, to be inspired, to ground, to resource ourselves, and how that happens so beautifully and organically. We have examples and models of that in nature, of rooting down so we can rise up, of reaching for the light, allowing the muck to settle with the roots to the ground, and then just like sunflowers, we kind of lean and inch up toward the light. Uh,
Yeah.
good, good.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Someone else mentioned element practice is new to me, aligns with artist practice of exploring the elements.
Beautiful. I'd like to offer that the one of the intriguing things that I've been exploring and find worthy of investigation in the elements practice is that um, is the absence of separation. We contact and explore the elements within, so we didn't go through all of them, but there's earth, there's fire, there's water. The water one is so rich um, in terms of, we're mostly water. That's what the biologists tell us. And the earth is mostly water. And so all of the stuff, that the fluidity that moves, the power of the water element, how it freezes, you have a frozen shoulder. And then how do you work with that in practice to soften around it with the parts that are fluid, that are moving, not in a kind of aggressive way, but just to soften. And we have the same air, within with the breath, the wind externally, space. I think I got them all. Fire within and then externally. So that's 5. And then we begin to feel less isolated, feel like less like this is only happening to me. How intense that suffering can feel when we go into that place. But connecting to the elements, again, for me, kind of loosens those walls a little bit. And then it's less me or mine. This is happening to me. And more just an energetic quality, an elemental quality that's arising and passing away.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
just some thoughts to play with if you're taken up by this elements practice and want to explore a little bit more on your own.
Yeah, there's so much there. So it's wonderful that you've introduced everyone to this, because I think there's, like you said, a great opportunity for people to explore it further. So we have come to our time here. So I wanted to thank you so much, Zeenat, for sharing your insights with us this morning. Just some reminders for everyone as we head towards our conclusion, different ways that you can keep in touch with us. Every Tuesday and Thursday we're here. This coming Thursday we'll be back with Tara Healy. Keeping in touch through our website, Living Well at Home. There's various fitness classes, yoga, Zumba, and wellness webinars that you can find there. And also check out the free resources on mindfulness and pain management through our partnership with mindful.org. And you can find it at the mindful.org/pain, both in English and in Spanish. And connect with us on Facebook at Mind the Moment, as well as you can visit our YouTube page, Mind the Moment, to see these sessions, older sessions, and interviews Tara has had with various mindfulness researchers in the field. So those are just a few ways that you can keep in touch. And I wanted to bring it back to Zeenat to conclude with us in a final practice.
Thank you, Suzanne. So let's just sit for 30 seconds, please. If you wish, you may close your eyes once again. I would invite you to dedicate the merits of your practice, the fruits of what we cultivated this morning, to somebody in your life or a group of people who you think would benefit. You could dedicate the merits to yourself, wherever the heart is moved to offer. May you be well. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, we look forward to seeing everyone on Thursday. And thank you so much for joining. We've enjoyed being with you this morning, and we will see you again soon.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Be well.
Be well.